Hello everybody, my name is you, and welcome back to Let's Play Splatoon! In the previous episode, we defeated DJ Octavio once again with the super awesome powers of Amiibo. And in today's episode, we'll be checking out the local multiplayer mode for this game, the Battle Dojo. In Battle Dojo, you can play one-on-one battles against a friend. One player plays on the gamepad while the other plays on the TV. So I'm not entirely sure if this is the very first Wii U game that did this. I think that goes to Hyrule Warriors, but this game's local multiplayer is not split screen. Rather, one player plays on the television while the other will play on the Wii U gamepad. So this is a really neat idea, and they're kind of expanding upon this in Splatoon 2, where like everybody's going to have their own Switch screens for their local multiplayer. It's going to be a lot better in that game, admittedly, because I'm just going to say this right now. Battle Dojo is my least favorite multiplayer mode in Splatoon, but we'll be getting more into why a little bit later. So, first thing I want to say real quick is huge shout out to my awesome sister, Mini Beanie, for recording this video with me. She couldn't record the commentary, unfortunately, because she's on a very busy schedule, and I didn't have enough time to set up a day for the both of us to record commentary for this video, because I'm on a tight schedule for recording this Let's Play. But, huge shout out to you. If you're watching this video, you are awesome. She's the person controlling the roller over there. I'm the one who's controlling on the TV. But how this works is one player will be controlling on the Pro Controller while the other one will be playing on the gamepad. The Pro Controller does not have any motion control or anything like that, so if you don't play motion controls in Splatoon, the Pro Controller will probably be the best way for you to play on this mode. But there is still a way that the Pro Controller can play with motion controls. It's a very convoluted setup, and I'm not entirely sure how it works myself, but basically, you strap a Wii remote to the Pro Controller and you press the buttons and stuff like that, basically turning it on at the same time, and then you'll be able to use the Wii remote motion controls with the Pro Controller. It's a very convoluted setup. I don't really like using it myself because it's not very comfortable to hold, and it's just not that practical. Thankfully, the Pro Controller for the Nintendo Switch will have motion controls, so we don't have to go through that horrible process again. So how Battle Dojo itself works is there's going to be a spawn point where a bunch of balloons are going to be appearing. The balloons are your points. You destroy a balloon, you get a point. But if you get splatted, you will lose points. So, if you are lagging very far behind against your opponent still has a way to make a comeback by going on a more aggressive route, is what I'm trying to say. You can splat them, and then you'll lose points. So if you're having a hard time trying to get the balloons, then your best strategy may be to try to splat your opponent instead. So, this is a fun minigame and all. There are a couple downsides. Like all the Wii U games, it has this type of multiplayer. The graphics will downscale themselves, even if you're playing in 1080p. When I record these videos for the Wii U, I'm usually recording in 480p. That's the reason why it's not in like complete not in complete widescreen and things like that. The reason why I record in 480p for Wii U games is because of the fact that, for one, I don't upload in HD because it takes way too long for my editing program to process that, and it's also kind of a pain in the butt to set that up on my TV that I use in my office, because for whatever reason, the TV that I use in my office, even though that it is capable of processing 1080p images, I can't record with that on this TV, unfortunately. I can in my living room, but not the one in my office. I don't know why that is. So, right there you saw my opponent using a special weapon against me. Special weapons work very differently in this mode because how they work in this mode is you destroy a box and then you'll get the power-up. But it gets unleashed automatically, so it's not actually exclusive to special weapons either. You can also get like seekers and stuff like that, or sprinklers. I think it's just a sprinkler. I'm not sure about a seeker, but the really cool thing is they get released automatically, so it controls very differently than how it controls during the online multiplayer. I can understand why that is, because the Pro Controller doesn't have like a way to use like an ink strike but it kind of sucks because you can't control when they're going to attack. But it's still kind of a cool change in pace. I'm very scatterbrained when it comes to this. In case you couldn't tell, like once again we're like, oh, this is a cool idea. It's like, nah, it kind of sucks. Oh, this is a cool idea again. And so you also don't have control over how much time you have during these matches, but I think the time limit they do give you is plenty of time for a good match to go around, because you have plenty of time to get as many balloons as you can, but also strategize and destroy your opponents in cold blood. And the first round is almost over, so let's see who's going to win. Yeah, I'm gonna say this right now. My sister is kind of brutal in this game when it comes to the roller. Like, she's honestly one of the best roller users that I've ever seen in this game. So if you come across her in online multiplayer and she has a roller, you are in some serious trouble. If you were paying attention, you may notice that the Urchin Underpass that we just played a moment ago is not the same as the Urchin Underpass that's in the game nowadays. The reason for that is because they actually never updated anything from Battle Dojo. They never included more stages for you to play on, they never updated the weapons or the stage layouts. So if there was like a major stage layout change through an update, like what they did with Urchin Underpass, that wasn't the case with Battle Dojo. So the original Urchin Underpass that was available on launch day is still playable through Battle Dojo. So, on one hand, that's pretty cool that they did that, but on the other hand, it kind of saddens me that they never included new weapons or anything like that, because I would have really liked to have played this with the Schlosser or the Heavy Splatling, because the Schlosser is like the best weapon ever. Stay away with it out there. E-Leader is a good sniper and all, and I guess the Octobus or whatever is also pretty decent, but the Schlosser would be the greatest weapon to ever grace the world of Split. I don't know where I was going with that. I have to learn to shut up before I get too far ahead of myself. I have to learn to not talk. You know what? That's it. The rest of this video won't have any commentary, so enjoy this standard, boring walkthrough. No more Let's Play. No more commentary. I'm just kidding. Alright, so one thing that I like to talk about okay, right there. That was actually a pretty fun moment right there, because like I was following my opponent, but then they splatted me around the corner. That's what I said earlier, that my sister is like a really brutal roller user in this game. It'll be interesting to see how she handles the rollers in Splatoon 2, because I think they changed it in that game where we jump, it becomes like a vertical splash of ink rather than like a horizontal one. But this isn't Splatoon 2. We're talking about the original Splatoon game. Ha 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 ha. That was a very stupid laugh. One other thing that's worth mentioning is that we're not going to be demonstrating every single stage in this video, because all the footage that we did record, it ended up being 20 minutes anyway. And I was also running into some problems with my flash drives, and people who have been following my social media pages just know what was going on. Basically what was happening was that I had 2 flash drives. The first one was an 8GB hard drive, and it was a really good one. The other one was a backup, and it was 4GB, but they both corrupted over the course of time. I'm not entirely sure what happened to them. I don't know why they corrupted, but I couldn't get them to work for anything, so I had to eventually get a replacement. But by the time I was able to get a replacement, we weren't able to record any more footage, so that's the reason why we're not going to be demonstrating all the stages in Splatoon. And also, I think the video, as it is long enough to justify just demonstrating 3 stages rather than doing all 5. I gotta say, the music is also pretty nice for Battle Dojo. The music in Splatoon is, in general, is just very fun and upbeat. I've always really loved the soundtrack for Splatoon. The soundtrack for Splatoon 2 also sounds pretty good. Like, I especially love the new Splatfest theme with Marina and Pearl. It just sounds... I keep talking about Splatoon 2! Idiot you! Shut up about Splatoon 2! We'll save that topic for another day. We're talking about the original Splatoon. I'm sorry, I'm just so excited for Splatoon 2. I just can't seem to stop talking about it, but we're Let's Playing this game. Am I going to be able to win this one? Tune in to find out. Hopefully. Except I'm playing with a sniper weapon. I gotta say, this isn't like an excuse or anything for why I wasn't doing so well during this mode. I'm not that great again in Battle Dojo anyway, and my sister, like I said earlier, is a really brittle roller user. But I will say that I did have a bit of a disadvantage when I was playing this, because I cannot stand playing this game without motion controls. You saw that, I think you saw that during the blooper, when we were handling Dr. Valley person in this game. There was one part where my motion controls were turned off all of a sudden, and I don't know what was going on with that, but I cannot stand playing this game without motion controls, so using the Pro Controller wasn't exactly the best thing in the world for me. And while I could go through that whole convoluted setup of setting up a Wii Remote to use the motion controls, I don't want to do that, because it's a pain in the butt to do, and it's not a very comfortable solution. So, not just that, but I was also using some weapons. Sorry, I forgot that happened. I forgot that the sea came from the corner of my screen and splatted me. Oh, well played. The last map we'll be playing on is Salt Spray Rig, and I was pretty happy with the way this one turned out. So we'll be demonstrating a blaster weapon. This is probably going to be like the only time I'm actually going to be demonstrating this outside of Booyah Base, because I don't like blaster weapons. They're good, kind of, but the weird thing is they fire a short distance and explode. Well, that's fine and all, but the thing is you kind of have to get like a direct hit on your opponent if you want to spot them, and it's not that great when you're dealing with using the Pro Controller and lock controls when you're so used to motion controls. So, the thing with the blaster is that you also want to aim a bit higher so that you can have a longer trail of ink. We'll be talking more about blasters and stuff like that when we get around to the Booyah Base episode. And speaking of which, something kind of funny about that was that I had my notes for Booyah Base prepared months before I started Let's Playing this game. But the thing is, I couldn't find them anywhere. Like, I couldn't find any of my notes on any of my hard drives, so I had to, like, rewrite them all. So, that's gonna be a fun experience. The Ink Mine is also a pretty decent weapon to use, because when your opponent gets close to them, it will explode. But I think my sister knew better, because like she knows my strategies when I play through this game, so I think she knows what I'm going to be doing. I'm admittedly pretty predictable when it comes to this game if you've seen me play through this game before. Like, if you've seen my Let's Play of this game, then you probably already know some pretty good strategies for how to beat me with this game, because I'm admittedly a bit of a predictable player when it comes to these kind of games. Like, I don't really go outside my comfort zone when it comes to strategies I like to use. Like when it comes to arms, for example, with Min Min, I like to use this black boxing gloves, and my strategies for that are pretty similar. Like just charging weapon and then do 2 punches so that one of them stuns them and the other one will knock them down. Just things like that. So if you've seen me play through this video, if you've seen these videos and you've seen me play through these, you probably already know some good strategies for how to beat me on these. And we get splatted again because I suck. Bubbler! Yay, Bubble! Okay, last time I talked about Splatoon 2 in this episode, I swear. Something that was really cool that they announced during the Splatoon 2 Direct was the fact that they gave a little teaser for the new weapons that would be coming to the game. One of them that they demonstrated was kind of cool. It was like an umbrella, and you can use it to defend against ink and things like that. But the one that I'm really excited for is the bubble one, because you can destroy enemies with bubbles! It's so beautiful! Like, you can use the bubble wand to throw bubbles of ink, and they eventually explode, and they can destroy inklings! We're using bubbles to destroy people! It is such a beautiful sight! maybe a little crazy. But on all seriousness, the Bubble Wand is like one of the coolest weapons I've seen in this game. And I play with the Slosser, so that's really says something. Like right there, that's to really give you a good indication of how bad I am at Battle Dojo, because I was right there, and I had the bubbler activated, and she was right there, and I had every opportunity to destroy her, but then I didn't because I suck. That's a good technique to use with the ink mine if you know you're gonna get splatted eventually. Like if somebody is following you and you're trying to get away from them and you know you're not gonna make it, a good strategy with the ink mine is to set one down right before you die, so that the ink mine will more than likely destroy the your opponent when you die as well, so you both get taken out. Because like the biggest thing with Splatoon is when you take out your opponents so that you can have some time to cover an area to cover a piece of turf with your own ink, and taking out your opponent alongside with you makes it so that like nobody covers that ink. So that's a pretty good strategy for when you play on the online multiplayer when you have the ink mine. Again, I'll go over more of that when we get into the Booyah episode. But that's gonna be it for this episode of Splatoon. As you can see, I am terrible at this mode because I lost every single match, but you know what? I'm fine with that. I still had a really good time with this. Once again, thank you so much to my sister Mini Beanie for helping me record the footage for this. In the next episode, we'll be taking care of the Booyah base. This will also be the final video for the second part of this Let's Play where we're taking care of Encompass Plaza, because after that, we're going to be getting into some more of the online multiplayer features. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video of Splatoon, and until next time, later to you. Oh yeah.